Hey guys, it's Michael Levine. I'm going to attempt to cut my own hair right now just with some clippers, some scissors, and a mirror. I've got this tiny little mirror. I'm out on my deck, so you're going to hear some ambient noise, but right now there may be people who don't have a partner or friend. My wife is a hairdresser. She could easily do my hair for me. She thinks I'm an idiot for doing this, but right now I could easily get her to do it. But I thought I would kind of take a crack at doing my own hair, because who cares? And there's an old adage, and this is, I don't know how accurate this is, and I don't know if I should be saying it, but you know, the difference for a guy, the difference between a good cut and a bad cut is 2 weeks. So I'm going to give this a shot. So I'm not going to use any guards right now. I'm going to take the guards off because I want to go quite short. But you know what? Maybe what I'll do is I'll use a half guard. This is a point. It's a 1.55 millimeter. So I'm just going to put these other guards down. Now, I don't need a whole lot taken off the top, but I'm actually pretty good at cutting the top myself anyway. But let's see, try to figure out how to do this. I'm going to find a spot basically below the wide point of the head. So if you see, my head is round and my head's really round. I want to find, my dog's scratching at the door. I want to find a spot below where the hair starts to round. That's called the parietal ridge. So I want to go a little bit lower than that. And for me, I kind of know how I want this, and it doesn't have to look super blended for me. But I'm going to probably create a really short line here, maybe going down into a mohawk sort of vibe at the back. But the back is definitely not going to be even, because I'm not going to be able to do this. But I'm just going to find this spot. But you'll also notice that my two heads, this side sticks out, this side goes down. It's just the way my hair grows. So I'm going to try to find this line. If we can get the starting point the same on both sides, it's like if you're putting rims on your car but you don't have any money, just put them on one side, because nobody sees the two sides at the same time. Yes, you're going to see me here, but you're not going to see me back here at the same side, so it's okay. So I'm going in and going down. A lot of people would say go up, but what we're doing is we're putting a toe in the water right now. You know what I've discovered? I'm getting a lot grayer. So I got that little wedge there. Don't worry about that right now. We're going to get rid of that later. Now here's where it's going to get a little bit difficult, is I'm going to try to hit the other side similarly. Now this side, as I said, doesn't stick out. So what I'm trying to do basically right now is give myself a bowl cut. It's going to be a little bit sling blade. I reckon he was just a little feller. He didn't mean to hurt nobody. And I gotta watch my angle so I don't go too far back and down, and that's a little hard thing to do in the mirror. Okay, so I've now got my two sides. They look fairly even. They're both kind of sloping down, but I can't really see. If you guys are doing this in the mirror, much easier if you've got one mirror and then another mirror, like your big bathroom mirror and then a small hand mirror. Much easier. And then you can also turn around and do the back. I'm not able to do that, obviously. So I think I'm going to use my fingers as a guide. I'm going to just feel it out. So I'm just going to figure out where I want this to come from. Oh my god, this could be ridiculous, but who cares? I'm not working right now, so why not? I'm going to try to even this out, just kind of knowing roughly where I was at. Alright. Can't really feel it because my hair wasn't that long to begin with. But I'm going to just try to lay a finger out and just see what happens. You know, a lot of hairdressers are crapping on other hairdressers for teaching their clients how to do their hair. I feel like I'm just going to go straight. I don't want that mohawk thing. It's not happening anyway. I'm going to just put my finger here and just try to find my line and work straight across. A lot of hairdressers are crapping on other hairdressers for teaching people how to color and stuff like that. You know what, guys? I really don't care. Our clients are going to come back to us. It's not like, oh good, they're going to look forward to doing their own hair. I've always encouraged my clients to do their own bang trims and things like that. You know, just go for it. If you like it, who cares? I don't get too worked up about these things. Cut your own bangs, do your own roots. Here's what my main criteria is. Don't use a henna. If you want to come back to the salon, don't use a henna. If you do love a henna, just always have your henna, and just keep doing your henna. They're beautiful, they're shiny, they look gorgeous. I have lots of clients with success. By the way, also a lot of hairdressers fearmonger about hennas. For me, I've never had a really negative reaction with a henna, and in fact, anytime I've bleached through it to pull in some highlights, I usually get through it and I get a nice lift. We'll do a strand test, but just don't mess with hennas if you plan on coming back to the salon right away. The other thing that I would tell you, everything is really in the application. Do your best to just keep it on the visible parts. I'll often get clients that'll pull their hair back and say, look how gray I am. And I'm like, well, do you wear your hair like that? And they're like, no. And I'm like, well, don't worry about it then. Who cares? You know, it's like that, for me, I'll get these clients, they'll be wearing a ponytail and the roots are horrendous. And they'll say, oh my God, I have to get my hair done. I'm so desperate. But the hair looks okay when it's down. And it's like, you know, it's like, doctor, it hurts when I do this. Well, don't do that. You know, it's pretty simple stuff. Wear your hair down. It might mean you have to style your hair a little bit more often. But, you know, just if you need to color your hair, just kind of do the parting and maybe the hairline if you have to. But don't sweat it. Everybody's kind of in the same boat. Okay, so now that I've gone down and I don't really hear anything, I don't really hear it biting, now I'm going to do the scary part. I'm going to come up, I'm just going to grab my mirror. I'm going to open up my guard. So here, a lot of clippers are going to have a lever. This is closed, meaning the blades are touching. This is open. I'm going to just see if I can show you. Open, meaning the hair is a little bit longer. And when we're going up against the grain, we get in a little bit tighter. Keep forgetting I don't have a mirror. So now I'm just going to kind of clean up the bottom. I'm not really trying to work a fade so much. This is, and I know this looks ridiculous and it's ghetto. It's really hard for me to do. You got to go against the grain though if you want to get it tight. So I keep changing my lever around. I might even pull a lefty on this one. You might notice I have a super dry scalp. It's insane. I've used everything under the sun. I'm going to talk something else right now. A lot of hairdressers shit on Head and Shoulders. Did you know Head and Shoulders is the #1 selling shampoo in the world? And a lot of people shit on Head and Shoulders. So I remember for me, it's like, oh, I can't use Head and Shoulders. So I went to the beauty supply and I said, I got a really, really dry scalp. This is 25 years ago. I have a really dry scalp. What do you recommend? And they're like, oh, use this. It was a Redken product, I think. Use this Redken anti-dandruff or scalp shampoo. So I'm an ingredient guy. I read the back of the ingredients of everything because we make our own products. We have our own product company now. And I read the ingredients, and the key ingredient is ZPT or ZPT, which is zinc pyrithione, or I don't know how to pronounce it. But it's the same active ingredient in Head and Shoulders. So now, all of a sudden, I'm paying 3 times the amount, 4 times the amount for the same chemical in a more expensive carrier. And when my scalp is as dry as it is, it doesn't matter what I'm using. If I'm using Aveda, if I'm using the most expensive shampoo in the world, I still have a dry scalp. So I don't really care about what the carrier is. I care about the effect. And for me, to be totally honest, ZPT doesn't work for me. It doesn't do anything for me. The only thing that offers my scalp any relief would be what the heck is it called? Nizoral, which is an antifungal, because dandruff is actually a fungus, apparently, which is absolutely disgusting. It's the fungus among us. And apparently it is a fungus, and so you need an antifungal. So if Head and Shoulders works for you, keep using it. If Nizoral works for you, keep using it. Whatever works for you. Again, I'm not a snob about this stuff. I don't care. If you're happy with the way you look, if you're happy with the bangs that you cut, if you're happy with anything, just go with it. It doesn't matter. It especially doesn't matter now. Just going to kind of blend my burns a bit. Okay, so now, guys, I'm going to switch to a number 1 guard. Now, I actually don't have a number 2, so number 2 would be a little bit longer. So I'm going to use the number 1, which is 3 millimeters. I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to start trying to attack this line a little bit. So I'm going to kind of flare it out a little bit, but see, the way I wear my hair, if this doesn't look awesome, it's still going to look decent. So I'm going to flare it out and try to get at this line a little bit this way. And I don't want to go above this recession area here. That's really where I want this to stop. So I'm going to just keep going and flaring it out. Now I have to deal with my 2 sides differently because they're both different. Now, if this looks horrendous, I'm going to beg my wife to fix it anyways. So this is a little bit low risk for me. It's probably a higher risk for you. So now we're trying to soften the sling blade. Remember when you saw Sling Blade and then you're like, oh my god, it's John Ritter, it's Jack from Three's Company? Now again, guys, I can't see anything, so I have to kind of go by feeling and by sound. So I'm going to kind of go up, and when I hear a little bit of a bite, I'm going to flare it out, which is not the best way to do this. And again, I recommend you're going to do this in the bathroom with a mirror in front of you. But I'm just trying to be symmetrical. And you know what, guys? I've had some pretty bad haircuts in my life, so this is probably not going to be the worst no matter what. When I used to have a mullet, I had a little, I would rock the Liam Gallagher look a little bit in the 90s. And well, probably way longer. I've rocked it well into the 2000s too, up to about 2010, maybe 2015. And I would always cut my hair. Nobody would cut my hair, because if I screw something up, I want it to be my fault, not somebody else's. And I'm the type of guy that I'll lose my mind on somebody else making a minor mistake, but if I totally goon it and have to shave my head, I don't care. So basically I got problems is really what I'm saying. Okay, so now I don't have a number 2 guard, so I'm going to switch to a number 3. And I'm going to really try to blend this line out now. So I've got my number 3, I'm going to keep it closed, because number 3 is pretty long. It is 10 millimeters, 1 centimeter, for you American friends, 3/8 of an inch. So now I'm just going to go up. So you can see I got this loop, lump thing coming out, and I don't really have it on this side as much. It's just the way it goes. That's my hair. Can't really hear anything. And I have a little bit of a trick at the end of this that I'm going to show you guys, because very often I touch up my own hair even when I have a good haircut. I still touch it up. I almost always do. I always find something that bothers me. Where the heck am I? There I am. See, this side is so much more polite. We don't really want to go above here too much. I have a very flat head here. That's a little bit kind of, it's a little flat there. So I don't want to go above that, because if I go too far into the round, that flat's going to be really exaggerated. So I want to take it up to a bone called the occipital bone and then flare out from there. The key thing is, traditionally men's haircuts should be somewhat square. That's the idea, that's what they teach us in hairdressing school. If you just keep it kind of square, it'll work. For me, square doesn't work so much, I gotta go a little rounder. Now for you guys at home, if your top is getting a little long and you've bought some clippers, use your largest guard, which I think is like a number 8, and it's about 2 inches or something like that, and just kind of mow through the whole top before you even start this. Buck everything off with an 8 or something like that, and then do this. Then do what I'm doing. For me, I went pretty short with my last haircut anyways, so I'm okay. The top isn't going to be an issue for me. Yeah, it's not horrendous. It's not awful. Although, if you're watching this, you might say it is. Just blending in my sideburns. I feel like I'd even like to go a little bit shorter, but I'm afraid that's going to be a little too unforgiving. I wish I could see the back, but I can't, so I'll just have to have a little bit of faith. I'm sure it doesn't look great, but it's probably passable, and now I'm going to show you my secret weapon. Okay, so now, in order for me to do this, I'm going to style my hair. I'm going to put my hair into the way I wear it, and then I'm going to cut it again from there, because I can see how it's going to sit when I wear it. So for me, my secret weapon is molding putty, productforhair.com. That is my wife and my company. We started our product company many years ago. So molding putty. So here's how I use it. I take a little bit out. Well, that's probably more than I need. So I take about this much out, and I'm just going to keep this mirror between my legs so I won't be able to see it. So I mush it into the palm of my hand to break the product up, because right now it gets really lumpy. If you don't do this, if you don't emulsify it a little or mush it a little first before you start emulsifying it, it gets really kind of clumpy. So now I've got the product on my hand, and I start pushing my hair around a little bit because I like it spiky, because I like to try to look taller than I am. And I work it through, all through the top. And in a second I'm going to grab my mirror and just sort of see, but first I've got to get the product into my hair so I can then play with it again. In the bathroom, you're not having to worry about this. The whole thing is in front of the mirror. See, that doesn't look that awful, guys. That's not that bad. I can totally work with it. Even if I got a little overhang here, that's cool. I can deal with that. And this side now, there's some lines. This is not good. This is my bad side. I really did a decent job on this one. Okay, so I kind of move my hair out to the side to see how things look, and again, it's really lumpy. It's kind of awful. I did not do a very good job right here. I'm going to take the number 1, and I'm just going to try to get rid of that. It's a little bit better. It's almost kind of passable, but you can still see this lump right here. So I'm going to try to get rid of that. Even now, guys, it's not the end of the world. I've had hairdressers cut, or barbers cut my hair, and hairdressers cut my hair that leave that lump. Just gonna clean this up. I'm being a little rough with my ears, so just fold your ear down and just kind of work it around. Basically, I remember when I worked at this salon years ago, I used to cut this guy's hair, and he really taught me a lot of what we do when we work with clippers is about sound. You know, if you can hear it catching something, you got to go over it again. And I also push. I find a lot of people are too gentle when they do clipper work. I really dig in. Have you ever had a tattoo? If you had a tattoo artist who didn't stretch your skin, your tattoo would suck. It would be a mess, right? So tattoo artists know this. It's the same thing when it comes to clipper work. I stretch the skin, and that involves kind of pushing down a little bit. I kind of really dig in. Now, I don't know if I just took a bunch of hair off, so I don't know if I just gooned it, but we'll see. Okay, so now I've got some scissors in my pocket, and I'm happy to see you. So I'm going to take some thinning shears. Now, I can do this with regular scissors too, but if you go down to Petcetera or PetSmart and get yourself a pair of thinning shears, you know, and all I'm doing is I'm putting them in vertical up against my head like this, finding the lumpy bit, because right now, previously I was cutting it sort of, technically, sort of, but right now what I'm doing is cutting it visually. So I'm trying to create that squareness and remove a little bit of this lump. Ow, that was my ear. Still kind of digs in a little bit. I didn't do the best job in the world here. Sometimes it's hard to see where the actual problem is coming from. But you can see, so it's kind of looking a bit more square. Still a lump right here. When you see a problem, guys, you attack the problem. You don't go above or below the problem, just attack the problem. Think like a sculptor. Think like a sculptor and you'll do okay. Now, here I don't really need to do as much because my growth patterns aren't as funky. They're still a little funky. Dig this side though. I dig that kind of overhang, that slight disconnection. I don't know if I'll be able to maintain it because you gotta have both sides looking kind of similar. So I'm gonna comb this down, and that product. This is our recession area. Once I saw these hairs on my forehead, growing on my forehead, I'm like, what the shit's going on? Is this now I'm getting old? I'm growing hair out of my forehead? And then I realized those hairs were the last survivors of my receding hairline. So it wasn't like I was growing hair low, it's that my hairline's been coming back. I'm pretty lucky at 51 that I have a decent head of hair. So I'm going to comb this down, and I just want to go in get a little bit shorter. The shorter you go, guys, around your hairline, the thicker it makes your hair look. And again, you could do this with regular scissors. I might just switch to regular scissors for you guys. Oh, that side was already kind of short. I don't like to thin the bangs too much, because that area is already a little bit on the thin side. So now I'm going to just kind of comb my hair down. I can live with this, guys. I think this is going to look decent. I'm going to comb my hair down, just take these thinning shears, and just park them into my hair. kind of cut a little bit of the density out here. Now, the thing is though, listen, you can usually only do this once before you actually need a proper haircut. So I don't recommend you do this a bunch of times. First time you do this, you can probably get away with it and it'll look decent. The second time, it's probably going to look worse. It's like when one of my clients used to go to another hairdresser. The other hairdresser is able to follow my work, so that and if the client is only getting like an inch taken off, it won't be awful. Not to say all other hairdressers are awful and I'm amazing, but I am and you are. No, I'm kidding. But very often the client would come back to me the second or third time. They'd go, I don't know what it was. The first time she did my hair was amazing, and then it was just never good. I'm like, yeah, because she was building off of my haircut. Now, once she doesn't have my haircut to look at anymore, it's over. Look at that. And then I have this whimsical little piece, a little Superman-y. Now, I'm going to show you the back. I haven't seen the back, but I'm going to show you guys the back. Is it awful? I don't know. I'm going to have to go find it. I'll go find out when I'm downstairs in the bathroom. But again, you'll be able to see the back when you're doing it yourself, so it's not a big deal. That's it, guys. I just cut my hair. I think it looks reasonable. I can rock it. I feel good about it. I don't have to go to work anyway, so I'm comfortable with it. It is a little long back here. A little bit long, but I might just thin that out. But again, I'll just like take my thinning shears and shove it in there. I don't care. Like I said, you can really only do this once. Then eventually you're going to need a proper haircut. Alright guys, hope you learned something from that. Have a great day.